Hey, what's up, my sexy viewers? It is Size Matters, and today we're going to be talking about tips to make keys in CSGO. Also, we're going to be talking about different styles and patterns on knives that can change the value depending on what they are. So, first of all, we're going to go over the different skins, patterns, whatever you want to call them. So most people are familiar with the case hardens having, if they have a lot of blue, then they're worth a lot. But a lot of people don't know how to price the knife based on that. And to be honest, I don't know either. I have a person that I talk to that is like sort of a specialist with case hardens, and usually he can tell me how much a case harden's worth and things like that. One, it matters how much blue is on it. I like the example that this guy gives here. A common case hardened knife has anywhere between 30 and 40% blue. Specifically to a karambit, because the blade is small, it'll usually have 30 to 40% blue on it. So that's just going to be a normal knife. But if it has a lot of blue on the knife, then that makes it super, super rare. This knife right here, if it was factory new and had that much blue, it would go for thousands upon thousands of keys. And no lie, it would be really expensive. So that's just an example of how patterns on knives can really just change the value of it. Like this knife right here, if it was factory new, would probably be fairly cheap. Not super cheap, but it'd probably be like a few hundred keys. But this knife, if it was factory new, would be thousands. If that was front and that was back, it'd be thousands of keys. All right, so let's move on here. On case hardens, there can be full gold, and it's considered to be rare, but it's definitely not as expensive as a full blue knife. For some reason, people like full blue instead of full gold. So full golds, there are people that want them, but it isn't something that people really look for a lot. It'll have to be some sort of like collector. All right, so let's move on to the slaughters here. Common slaughter is just said to have a zebra pattern. A zebra just means it has stripes and things like that, like along here. This right here, he failed to mention it would be considered a heart. Some people like hearts on their slaughters, and it would maybe make it worth a little bit more. But stripes like this is just considered zebra, and it doesn't really add anything. Next, as you can see, there's like a little diamond right here. Diamonds do increase the value because they are pretty rare to have on a slaughter. That one right there isn't very, it isn't very full. You can't really see very much of the diamond. It's sort of just like the head of the diamond, but it's still all right. Then you've got an angel slash phoenix. Depends on the person what they call it. Either way, it means the same thing. So as you can see here, this is the wing of the phoenix or angel, and then you've got the head, and then you got the other wing. So that would be considered the angel or phoenix. Those can go for quite a bit more. I would say like diamond and phoenix are one and the same. It just depends on what person wants what. But both the diamond and the phoenix do add quite a bit of value. Now, if you had a phoenix on play side and backside, it'd be worth a lot. Like this knife right here has a phoenix on the front, has a phoenix on the back. That'd be probably worth a bunch of money. I don't know like numbers just to throw off the top of my head. You'd probably have to get it like appraised by some slaughter person, somebody that works with them all the time. But anyways, so that's patterns of a case harden and a slaughter. Let's see. So it just tells you what's rare here. I also will talk about this. M9s have a large blade, so having a lot of blue on a large blade is going to make it worth quite a bit, especially if somebody's looking for an M9 that's case hardened. But the thing that I don't like that he says here is this 90 to 100% is considered most rare. It's splotchy. I would say even if this is considered like 90 to 100, it's really, really splotchy. You can see like purple throughout here and gold mixed in. It's really ugly. But the knife over here that you can see blue to gold mix, this is solid, almost solid blue and almost solid gold right there. People are looking for solid, not splotchy. So if this knife, I would say it would be rare if it was like all the way up to like the tip of the blade was blue. That would be rare. That would be considered most rare. I don't like the picture he gave an example as an example there. Um, Full gold, I will tell you, not a lot of people look for on M9s, so I don't really agree with that either. Same thing with this here. He has a better picture for the bayonet. This is more what you want to see here. It's solid blue throughout here, and then you got gold at the hilt of the blade and at the tip. That I would say is pretty rare. And then most rare, I don't agree with that. It looks like shit, to be honest. My personal opinion. I mean, I think the common one looks better than that shit. Alright, anyways, then you've got the fades here. Fades can either be, they can either be 50-50 purple pink, which he doesn't really have a picture of that. It can be mostly purple, which is what he has here, which is a lot of purple right there. And those go for like 200 to 250 keys. I know fades very well. I work with them a lot. 50 and 50s usually go for anywhere to 250 to 280 keys. And ones that have like a little bit of purple but don't quite have yellow yet, those usually sell like anywhere between 300 to 350 depending. And then a full pink with yellow can go anywhere between 400 and up, just depending on who you find that really wants it. So patterns matter a shit ton with a fade, because I mean you can be selling it anywhere between 200 to 400 plus, so it really does make a difference on the fades. Same thing with an M9. I will tell you on M9 and bayonet, both of the bayonets, you're not going to get 100% fade. And what I mean by that is there's always going to be gray at the bottom of the hilt. Always. Even if it's 100%. Always. Like, see this 100% right here? There's gray right in the corner. It's like a little triangle. There's always going to be gray there. And same thing with here. There's a little triangle. I'll tell you a tip with the M9s to see if it's fully faded or not is if it has a yellow ring, it's yellowish, not full yellow, that means it's 100%. And, you know, any more than that is just, you know, whatever. It's just considered 100%. If it is pretty far down the blade and doesn't have yellow, that means it's probably like an 80 to 90%. So I agree with what he has here. And then 70% or below, they just look like dookie. There's so much gray. I would never take one of those. Terrible. Same thing with the, I already explained that. There's just a little triangle, a little gray there. And, you know, it's basically the bayonets are pretty much the same. Although the regular bayonet is not going to have a yellow ring. It's just not possible because the color doesn't extend to the hilt or the handle or anything like that. And he just has more examples of slaughters. That's a diamond. That's a nicely centered diamond. That looks really cool. And then a nicely centered phoenix. That's really awesome. And a nicely centered heart. It's like a side heart. Those look really awesome. Demon. I've never heard of this before. A demon pattern. Like, I actually no, that's wrong. I've heard of someone saying there's a demon pattern, but like, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. Yeah, I've never heard anyone use a demon. I'm assuming that it doesn't add anything to the knife, so don't worry about that. And half heart, that's not really anything special. Crimson webs are expensive as fuck if you get a nice one. So there's multiple things that can make a crimson web worth a lot of money, and one is webs, and two is cleanliness, like how many scratches there are and stuff like that. So let's look at these two pictures right here. So this has no webs, which would mean that it doesn't really add any value to it, and it looks like it's minimal wear because there's like a little chip right here that's missing, and that's usually, if it's minimal wear, that's where the chip is going to come from. This one's a little bit more clean looking as opposed to this one that has more webs, but in the long run this is going to be worth more because the webs are really nice. This center web right here is really full, and then you've got another web that is pretty nice. It's not as full as the center web, but it definitely adds a lot to the knife. And if you can get two webs on a karambit like this, they're worth a lot. They really are, no matter what scratches are on them. I mean, obviously if they're fucking beat up, it's not going to be a lot, but that's still pretty nice. So I'd say this is a fairly nice knife, although it doesn't have any webs. It's pretty clean, but you know, this one's going to be worth a lot more, the one with two webs. So let's go back here. And then on bayonets, they can have anywhere between 3 to 4 webs. 4 is like super duper rare. I think he has a 4 right here. There's a web, there's a web, there's a web, and there's a web. I would say cleanliness is a lot better than webs on M9s especially. If it's super fucking clean and it's minimal wear, it looks factory new, those things sell for thousands of keys. I think the #1 knife is selling for 2,500 keys, which is a fuck ton of money. But on the M9s especially, there's a lot of room for scratches to be. I think the cleanliest one has like a few scratches on the tip, and that's like it. And like clean ring, clean blade, and like just a few scratches on the tip, and it's super nice. A lot of these you can see if you look really close, there's like a lot of scratches here. So the ring is scratched, the tip is scratched, and that's probably a minimal wear right there. So, you know, it's worth a lot because of the webs, but it's still not very clean, so it's not going to be worth shit tons. So let's go back here. So that's basically what the crimson webs are, and then the regular bayonet's basically the same as M9. I wouldn't worry too much about the other things. I will say about the AK case Hardins, they can be worth quite a bit. If they have a full blue top here, like the top of the gun is fully blue, those sell for quite a bit. Also, people like a full blue mag. If there's one with a full blue mag, it can be pretty cool and sell for a lot more. Let's see what else he has. The hypnotic and the, I don't know why he has these on. Like, I personally wouldn't give a fuck what the pattern is. I would just sell it for a Steam analyst price. Like, I wouldn't give a fuck what these were. So I would say it only applies for like case hardens and knives, really. Case hardened AKs and knives. So that's the basic rundowns of all the patterns. I hope I filled it in as well as I possibly could. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I am not an expert on pricing as far as cleanliness and webs and case hardens and slaughters. Like, I myself have to go to people who specialize in shit like that because I have no idea. I'm like, somebody hands me 100% blue field tested case hardened karambit, I'm like, I don't fucking know how much that's worth. So I do have to ask people, but it's I don't know, I'll help you the best I can is all I can say, basically.